So I saw the Thunderbolts, or the New Avengers as they call it, and I wanted to give my thoughts because I've been hearing some conflicting thoughts from reviewers that I thought were pretty reliable. I've been hearing that it's good, it's actually a really good and return to form, and then I've been hearing, no, it's absolute dog water, don't watch this. This is just like the post-Endgame MCU movies where it's still of very low quality. Hearing all this discourse, I decided, you know what, screw it. I've kind of tapped out of the MCU, but I'll give it a watch. I'll decide for myself and see exactly what has people so conflicted, and the results are in. No, it's still not good, but I can at least see why some people say it is. Let's first start off here. The fact that they tried to call this movie The New Avengers is an absolute travesty. This is nowhere near Avengers level, even the original Avengers from like 2012. This movie is more reminiscent of those DCAU movies where everyone wanted to chase the trend of having a cinematic universe that they build up to like an Avengers movie. They just don't want to put in the work. That is exactly what Thunderbolts is like. They try, but they can't. Either through incompetence or they didn't put in the legwork to make it happen. I guess we should start off where all stories start, at the beginning. Yelena's our main character here, and she's not very happy with the fact that she's essentially a hired gun after being, I guess, a Black Widow for all these years. Although, she was under mind control for most of that time, so I'm not gonna really throw shade at her. She doesn't like her position, and so she decides to visit her father, Alexei, who is a limo driver at this time, and she's kind of venting to him. Just like in Black Widow, which I wasn't a fan of, they're treating Alexei as a joke. Almost every line he says in here is kind of undercut with some kind of jab at his expense. I don't like this because it kind of undercuts any kind of character work you want to do with him when every time he speaks up, he's either shut down or it's used to make some sort of jab like, ha ha ha, laugh at Alexei. It's not very interesting and it's kind of annoying. In the end, he calls this lady, Valentina, I think her name is. She's got like that white streak in her hair. She's currently in an impeachment trial because they're trying to remove her as the head of the CIA. She goes in and talks really extra spicy to all these congressmen and just leaves. And then immediately talks to her assistant about how she needs to clean up all this evidence so she doesn't get impeached or arrested. Then Yelena calls her. She's like, hey, I want a new job, but after this, I want to go clean. I want to actually do something. I want to go clean after this. I want to actually do some good. And she's like, okay, I got this job for you. You got to get this hit on in this base out here in the desert. So Yelena goes and she runs into John Walker from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and she also runs into Ghost from Ant-Man 2, and she runs into Taskmaster. There's a scuffle, and Ghost actually just shoots Taskmaster in the face. So I'm sorry for you people who saw that, oh, Taskmaster is going to be in here. No, Taskmaster has like one line in this film and then is immediately shot in the head by Ghost. Womp womp. Another MCU villain wasted. These guys then run into a guy who they call Bob for the movie. He's some experiment that was also supposed to be destroyed in this bale of evidence. Oh, this place is an incinerator. The goal was to have all of them killed because all of these people can be used as evidence to testify against her, so she was just going to set up this situation where Ghost, Taskmaster, Yelena, and John Walker were going to kill each other, all be in the same spot and die. But it doesn't work and they escape. This is a weird thing that happens in the movie, but as this is going on, when Yelena shows up to this base, it's during the daytime. Then we cut to Valerie, who's at a party, and it's nighttime. We know this happens at the same time because Valerie gets security camera footage of them while they're at the party, so we know that these are taking place at the exact same time. And since it's day when Yelena gets there and it's nighttime at Valerie's party, this has to be on like the other side of the world. The Thunderbolts realize that they've been set up by Valerie, and she tries to incinerate them all. Luckily, they're able to escape. And they find themselves in this tube that they have to climb up, but they do it in the way that Cusco and Pacha did in that Emperor's New Groove movie. This is said to be like a really, really deep place that John Walker can't even jump up with his super soldier enhancements. So while this is going on, Valerie gets the security camera footage showing that they broke out and this could be really bad for her. So she calls on her secretary to go call some people so they can shut everything down, call this militia group. The Thunderbolts get to the top of this pipe, and then we cut to Valerie with her entire militia group surrounding the entire encampment, and it is nighttime. So these guys were just climbing up that pipe for like 12 hours that Valerie was able to get all these people right here. But now that she knows that the Bob guy has survived, because apparently he was part of the Sentry program, she wants them to go non-lethal. So the Thunderbolts realize that they're surrounded and they try to make some plan to escape, and nothing goes very well. They are able to commandeer a vehicle by using some disguises, and they're about to make it out until they get hit with a checkpoint. The dude asks them to verify who they are, and so the Bob guy steps out of the back with no one saw him somehow, grabs a gun and starts shooting up in the air. All the people, against Valerie's orders, air this guy out, turn him into Swiss cheese, and the Thunderbolts just leave. But the Bob guy survives, he flies up in the air and then just drops back down. Valerie's like, oh, we need to find this guy since he's the actually only living person from the Sentry program that we were working on. Then she asks her secretary to go set everything up back in Avengers Tower in New York. The Thunderbolts are walking through the desert, and they actually get found by Alexei, who was the limo driver for that Valerie lady and heard that they were gonna put a hit on her. So he drives all the way there, he finds them, he picks them up, and they get chased by more mercenaries, which I guess we're just supposed to assume are more of Valerie's goons. This scuffle is a bit odd because it's shown that they have really nothing to fight back with. All of their measures are being countered, like Ghost tries to go invisible and then they use the sound waves to knock her back visible again. Then Yelena just peers her head through the passenger side window, fires one bullet, and then takes out one of the vehicles. I don't know why she waited so long to do that, but okay. Then Bucky shows up and completely destroys the other vehicle and then takes out the Thunderbolts' limo as well. Bucky was previously in this movie trying to get Valerie's assistant to throw under the bus so she could testify against her, and so the assistant actually calls Bucky and says, you can just track my phone, and that explains why he showed up here. He had all of them restrained in some kind of warehouse because they're all evidence, and he was just going to leave them there so they could testify against her. They try to explain the Sentry program, but Bucky doesn't believe them until he gets a call from the assistant, who verifies exactly what the Thunderbolts were saying was correct. So he lets them all go, and then they head to Avengers Tower in New York. They arrive to New York, and Bucky just drives the truck through the front door. They start fighting a bunch of the guards in there, and then Valerie goes over the intercom and says, dude, I left the door unlocked, just come up the elevator. So they meet with Valerie, and now she brings out Bob, who is dressed in his Sentry outfit. She's again showing her villainous behavior, but we kind of already knew this because she says how now with this super weapon, I can now be the only person to protect America, and I won't have to answer to anyone. And so a fight is started between the Thunderbolts and the Sentry. The Sentry is said to be stronger than all the Avengers combined. This guy has super strength, he's got telekinesis, he's got the power of flight, he's got indestructible skin or something like that. And the Thunderbolts are just 3 super soldiers and 2 women. What do you think's gonna happen? So obviously, the Thunderbolts get completely dog-walked. And so presented with this terrible threat, the Thunderbolts just get in the same elevator they got in and left. They just walked out the front door. These are our heroes, everyone. These are the new Avengers. Now Sentry starts asking the obvious questions of why the hell am I a god, taking orders from a peon like you? He pins her up against the wall by grabbing her throat and knocks the controller out of her hand. But then her right hand picks it up and uses it, thus knocking out the Sentry. So the Sentry, his entire skin turns black, as in the absence of light, and the environment around him starts to turn black as well. They get this black shadow cast over it, and he raises his hand and anyone just turns into like smoke. He does this with 2 helicopters that crash into Avengers Tower and bring down some rubble on some people. And so the Thunderbolts are now able to have a moment where they can be shown saving people, and they get cheered on by the people that they saved. We see the entirety of New York get engulfed in black, like they got hit with Ichibe's Zanpakuto. So Yelena makes the decision to go in and let herself get turned into smoke, and then she like teleports into a memory of herself where she was like a kid and gave away the position of someone which got a child killed. She's able to move through this sequence of memories, which kind of shows some of her conditioning to becoming a Black Widow. And then she's able to see Bob in his reflection, and she sees how he's in like an abusive household and he is like addicted to drugs. She convinces him to stop all this, and they need to go find the other Bob, the one that's actually completely black inside of this memory whatever, to go find him and stop him. As a response to try and thwart their plans, he has just random shit thrown around the environment. Then the rest of the Thunderbolts just show up. They find Black Bob and they that's crazy. They find Black Bob and then they're able to subdue him and get him to stop, and we see a shot where the entire city is going back to not being engulfed by black anymore, presumably bringing back all the civilians who were involved in this. Now this next scene is a doozy. They're about to go grab the Valerie lady and make her pay for all the stuff she put everyone through. So the way it happens is weird. So it's gonna sound weird. Maybe I'll have to show something on screen just so I can explain this to you. She's like in front of some piece of debris and she steps back as they're approaching her. She walks through, I guess, some sort of cloth or curtain, and they go after her. They step onto a stage with the press already there in front of them. This is like less than 10 minutes after the entire city of New York was just engulfed in black and everyone was just turned into smoke. The press was just there waiting for them. And she's like, I've been working in secret to create the new Avengers. And everyone looks at everyone, and then it hits credits. I'm not joking. That was the stupidest thing I've seen so far. The fact that they thought that was okay to just end the movie right there is crazy. And now, after we thoroughly watched the Thunderbolts get dog-walked by Sentry, after we watched them essentially trip all their way into a victory, you're about to sit here and tell me that these are the new Avengers that are supposed to be taking on Doctor Doom in 2 movies? Get the fuck out of here. 3 super soldiers, 2 women, and maybe the Fantastic Four, depending on how that movie goes. That's our new Avengers. That's our force to fight against Doctor Doom. I can't imagine how someone could look at this movie and say it's a return to form for Marvel. Look me in the eye and tell me that this movie is comparable to Captain America the Winter Soldier. Look me in the eye and tell me that this movie is comparable to Doctor Strange. Look me in the eye and tell me this movie is comparable to Ant-Man 1. To be honest, it sounds like these people were on something when they said that this movie was good or a return to form. It's not the worst movie. I'm pretty sure that the Marvels would be infinitely worse. And Black Widow is definitely more irritating, but by no means is this at all a good film. If you want a movie recommendation for movies like the Thunderbolts, try watching The Justice League or Batman v Superman. And the thing is, this is just me going off the top of my head about some of the stuff I saw after a first viewing. I didn't even go in deeper into all the character stuff. And honestly, I don't think I will, because I don't think this movie really deserves me putting in that kind of effort. If you want a deeper breakdown, I'd probably just point you in the direction of the EFAP video they're probably going to do on this, because I'm definitely going to be watching that shit after I upload this. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Like and subscribe. I'm Mr. SP, thank you for watching, and see you next time.